Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Thursday, the 26th of June. So I thought today it kind of be a refresher because I think sometimes we get so many videos and people aren't watching all the videos. So sometimes things are left out. And you know from past experience that I do visit the other boards on Facebook at times. So stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, and yes, this is the weekday, Monday through Friday. Today is Thursday, girls, June 26th of 2025. So what are we talking about today? Sorry about the girls. They're all excited. It's cool out instead of being so hot like it has the last couple of days. What are we really talking about? I'm talking about how you approach each piece of equipment. And that is you start with the almighty, which is compression, right? If you don't have compression, then you have to go from there. It could be the valves, right? But as you're troubleshooting something, and Jason, you put it the best way possible, is you can get that unit. Let's take a chainsaw. Let's say you can get that unit going, but the cost to buying the bar, the chain, all of a sudden the customer doesn't want to spend the money. So you have to look at the whole repair and not just part of. If you're so focused on getting it running, hey, and not the rest of the stuff, then you're missing the boat. And case in point, I had a customer bring in a chop saw, a steel, concrete saw, rather, is what it is. But he wanted to get it running. And so I started, checking compression, and the more I looked at it, the more for just the parts that he would need to add to that unit, even if I got it running, would be cost prohibitive, right? So what I ended up telling him was, I gave him a call and I said, look, I'm not saying that I can't fix it because everything is fixable. It's just what is the end price going to be? And as I explained to him, I said, you have another one of these at your shop? And he said, yeah. I said, my suggestion would be to keep this one for parts. Don't put the money into it because by the time you get done, you're going to be 3/4 of the way to buying a brand new one. So this still has value when it comes to robbing parts off from it, but it doesn't have value in fixing it. He was hoping to get it fixed and then he was going to sell it. But I also explained to him that you can still sell it. Put it on Facebook Marketplace. Because somebody out there could use the parts off this one to get theirs going. And it would be cost effective versus going out and buying a new one, right? But that's the key thing when you're doing any type of mechanical work is you start with compression, you go to fire, you go to fuel, and air, right? If you got all four, it's going to run. And that's not always the case, is it? We ran into that with a Troy built tiller. Briggs and Stratton engine on it. I think like a 6 horse, 6.5 horse. Had poor compression, so we adjusted the valves up. We got it up to 100 psi. We changed the fuel, put all brand new fuel in it, new plug in it. We had good fire. And the air breather was clean. We could not get that thing to start without snapping it back in your hand. So I tell me it was a timing issue, right? But the amount of time Claude had into that of trying to keep adjusting valves, and this, the hours were clocking up that I could not ask the customer to pay. And one of those deals of where you look at it and you say, you know what? for the cost of a Predator engine from Harbor Freight is going to be less than trying to fix what you have. And some will tell me, well, the Briggs & Stratton is a lot better than the Predator. I'm not seeing that, folks. Not now. Before it was, but not now. So that's how I come back at the customer was, look, we have good compression, we have fire, we have new fuel, and it's getting air. It still does not want to run. We can get in deeper. And I know it's fixable, but at what cost? So I gave the customer options. And that's what you have to do too, is you have to come up with options. And those options could be yay or nay when it comes to fixing it. Is it worth it or not worth it? And I've said this before, but my bar is usually a lot lower than my customers, all right? So I treat everything as if it's my own. So when it comes in the shop, if I start seeing where it's going to take quite a bit of money to get it going, we need to have a discussion with the owner, right? The customer. On which direction they want to go. Some will say it's sentimental and fix it no matter what the cost is, which I think is asinine sometimes. If you're keeping it because it's sentimental, throw it up on a shelf and mark it as Dad saw or something. But to get it running again, sometimes it's cost prohibitive. So you need to have options. And if you're going to be in the small engine repair business or even in the automotive repair business, you always have to come up with options. What are the options available? It could be yay or nay. It could be, well, here's an alternative that we can go. And that's what I gave the customer on the teller. I said, look, for around $170, we could throw on a brand new Predator with warranty. And it's half horse bigger than the Briggs it was on it. If we continue where we're going right now, I've got so many hours in it of Claude working on it that I can't bill you because it's not fair. So the customer said, I trust you, Eric. Do what you think is the best by me. So I ended up buying a 6.5 horse Predator. It took us all of half an hour to take the old one off, put the new one on, get it all set up, get it back down on the ground, add oil, fuel, second pull, it was running. Everything worked the way it's supposed to. That's what we should have done in the get-go. But we had compression, we had good fuel, we had air, and we had fire. And it still wouldn't run. So you really have to look at each piece of equipment that a customer brings in. And we did there for a while. I felt that customers were bringing stuff that they found on the side of the road, hoping that we could do a quick fix on it and they could flip it. And a lot of times I give those customers a call and tell them, this is what we're looking at. And I would never get a call back, and it would end up in our boneyard. And they wouldn't even come pay the diagnostic fee. And you have to have a diagnostic fee. I'm sorry. I did for years. I'm not charging for that. But what I found was I was spending half of my day just doing diagnostics. And my time is valuable. It's worth money. If I'm not sitting there doing a diagnostic, I could be doing a repair. This is making money for the shop. That's the key, is to utilize each person that's employed in yourself to get a return on your investment, which means the best place for you to be is fixing stuff and getting it out the door and getting paid for it, right? It's not spending half your day diagnosing something and calling customers saying it's not worth fixing. So I instituted a diagnostic fee after you, Jason, had mentioned it. We charge $45. I don't care if it takes me 5 seconds or 25 minutes. It's still $45. If I go out and I put the spark tester and I pull it over and it has no compression, I tell the customer, here's your option. We can take it in, adjust the valves, and hope for the best, or we're done. That case, I don't charge the customer because all I got to do is just spin in my handy dandy compression tester and pull it over a couple times. But for that stuff that gets dropped off and they end up being a line of them, yes, everyone that I hit, there's a diagnostic fee on it. And if we end up fixing it, that diagnostic fee is dropped out and it's an hourly rate. Okay? That I think is fair to the customer and fair to the shop. All I'm looking for is to get paid for my time. And you as well, your time is worth money. And until you realize that, you will have a shop where you're spending half the time telling customers that it's not worth fixing. So in the comments, let me know what you think. It's not going to be a real long video today. I'm having some fun with high potassium levels that are just throwing me out of whack. But the key to any small engine repair business is understanding the basics, and that starts with compression, fire, fuel, and air. If you can normally get those four to click the right way, that engine will normally run. There are cases that it doesn't, but you have to weigh them out. You have to put yourself in the customer's shoe and have your bar set below their expectations, which is, would I fix it myself if I owned it? And that is how I approach everything. And like I say, most of the time, that's how I know where my bar is. Most of the time when I get to my bar, I call the customer and they're like, Eric, go ahead. That's fine. But you also have to know where that line is. And if you're spending time trying to figure out how to get more hours for the shop, paid hours, then you're going to end up losing in the end because you're going to end up overcharging customers because you're trying to get shop hours in instead of doing what's best by your customer. I have found over the years, if you treat your customers right, your customers will keep coming back. All it takes is one time. And what do we say? You're only as good as your last job. If you stick a customer, you will never see that customer again. And the other thought I'm going to leave you on is sometimes the price is right, the repair is right, but your delivery talking to the customer is wrong. Be willing to hit whatever level customer you have. Some customers, they don't want to know anything but what the end price is. Here's your money. I'm happy. Others want to know a little bit more about it, right down to some that want to know exactly what you did. And when somebody asks you exactly what you did, don't get on the defensive. I've seen this happen before. It's like people think that if somebody asks a perfectly good question of what was wrong with it, it doesn't mean that you have to take it as some kind of a slant. In our case here at our shop, if you thought that, you'd be 99% wrong. We have quite a few customers that know just enough to get themselves into trouble. And I have no problem having it be a teachable moment. And some might say, well, then they'll just do it themselves the next time. Maybe. But they seem to keep coming back. And they like the honesty. See, don't try to slide something by somebody, especially if you don't know what level of their ability is. A lot of our customers have the ability. It's just the time because they're working sometimes 2 jobs. So by explaining to them what was wrong, they're like, I should have known. But that honesty builds trust. And if you have a good trust relationship between you and your customer, that customer will keep coming back. All it takes is just that one time, and that customer will be gone forever. And if I can't force it upon you enough, it's so much cheaper to retain a customer than it is to get a new one. What does that mean? It means take care of your customers you have right now first and foremost before you go out looking for others. If you're that type, it's one off. It is what it is, and you charge them based on the hours. And let's say you worked on somebody's chainsaw and you hand them a bill for $400, and for $450 they could have had a new saw with bar, chain, everything. You're probably not going to get that customer to come back because that's well above where that bar was before you stepped in and called that customer. It's all it takes. And bad news travels faster than good news. So that one customer is going to be your worst advertiser. Take care of your customers and they will be your best advertisers. When someone says, I'm having problems with my lawnmower, if you take care of your customers are going to say, go see Eric. Here's his phone number. Or here's how to find him. That's where we get probably 95% of our customers. Is from other customers referring us to them. And we're very grateful for that. So on that note, you guys have a great Thursday, and we'll catch you here bright and early tomorrow morning. Sorry the video is not as long as it normally is, but these last couple days, it really kicked my you-know-what. So we'll catch you tomorrow bright and early. Thanks so much for watching.